Good morning, kia ora tātou. Good morning everyone and welcome. Welcome councillors, members of the staff, our media contingent and of course members of the public. Welcome to this council meeting of Wednesday the 29th of April, and I'd like to ask Councillor Pipe to take us through the prayer, please.
O God, our Creator, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and our hearts so that we will work for the good of our community and help all your people. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. We ask this grace through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, apologies. I have one apology from Councillor Rex Graham. Being no further apologies, someone happy to move that we accept that? Thank you, Councillor Bevan, seconded. Thank you, Councillor Hewitt. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. I have one notice, and that is I'd like to move that we accept the late item that came out on the regional cycle plan. Someone happy to second that? Thank you, Councillor Scott. Put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Any other notices today? Thank you. Conflict of interest declarations. No one declaring a conflict with any of this. The confirmation of the minutes, excuse me, of the meeting of the 25th of March. Excuse me. Right. So let's go through them for accuracy. Page 2. Councillor Barker.
I thought we'd started at well, page 2 it is, but it's the first bit. Yes, I have an objection to the item 3. My objection's many-fold. But firstly, the minute does not refer to me personally. I thought that had I moved an amendment, it would have noted that Councillor Barker moved an amendment, so my name has been taken out of the record. Secondly, I moved an amendment, and I would have thought that the amendment should have been recorded in the minutes. Without recording the amendment, it cannot make any sense, head nor tail of why the chair objected to it. Thirdly, that there's words attributed to the chair which weren't actually uttered. I've been back through the record, and it is correct that the chair did decline to accept, ruled my amendment out of order on 3.17.2, and did so on the basis that that standing order set out the objectives for minutes, and that the minutes as they read, according to the chair, met those objectives. The chair made no mention to the Local Government Act at all. Those are words attributed to you which were not uttered. It's on the video record. And also, there are words attributed to you here, there being no requirement to record the opinions or views expressed of individuals. The chair did not utter those words at all either. Those are words which were uttered by Councillor Scott, and I note that Councillor Scott was entitled to speak on this issue, but I was denied the opportunity to speak after Councillor Scott, and even denied the opportunity to speak to a point of order. The other fact that I want to raise here is there's nothing in the clear reading of 3.17.2 that says you cannot amend minutes by moving an amendment. Nothing whatsoever. The correct procedure for this was that the amendment should have been allowed to get a seconder, and the meeting itself should have decided whether it was going to accept it or otherwise. So in that regard, I object to the minutes, because I am not entitled, according to the chair's amendment, the chair's ruling, to move amendments. I will not move an amendment, and I advise the chair that these minutes do not accurately reflect what happened in the meeting, and therefore I'm going to vote against these minutes. And I'm going to vote against the minutes until the chair accepts that it's perfectly acceptable to move an amendment 2 minutes. Every entity and organisation I've ever been in The chair has always accepted an amendment to the minutes, there's been a seconder, and the meeting's decided on what the record's going to do. That's how this process works. No other way.
All right, in response to that, yeah, I accept what you're saying there, councillor. I didn't accept an amendment on the day. It wasn't really clear in my mind, and I haven't gone back to look at the video. I don't have that luxury in responding to you, that it was clearly an amendment. You felt, in my mind, that this is what it should say. The issue with the minutes is, well, not the issue, but the reality of the minutes is we actually keep two sets of minutes in this council. Unlike, well, I could explain that to you if you give me order, council. If you give me a chance, I'll explain that to you. We have a verbatim set of minutes with a video that is available to the whole country, dare I say it, the world, if they want to have a look on the internet. And we have a set of minutes that is recorded as per standing orders, which accepts a minimum, at least a minimum, as set out in the standing order that you read out. I didn't set out to offend. It sounds like I have offended you. That was not my intention at all. The challenge we have with the minutes, we could all have a go at writing our bits in there, and we could be here moving amendments all day. I'm not sure that's quite where you're trying to take us. In fact, I don't think it is. But in this particular instance, you were, as you say, we're not allowed to seek a seconder. Perhaps in hindsight, maybe I should have. I don't know. But that didn't happen on the day. It's not reflected here in the minutes. By all means, vote against them. Let's be a little clearer in our actions, perhaps, going forward.
Chair, if I could just say something. You and I had a conversation about the status of the minutes yesterday, and I think it might be helpful for all of us if you outlined what I understood you to be saying in regard to who owns the minutes,
Sure,
and how they're and how they're voted on.
the minutes are obviously put together by someone who was not taking part in the meeting. That's a fairly obvious reason for that. But actually, the minutes do belong to this council at the end of the day. We're the ones that accept them. We're the ones that vote on them. So they are our minutes. There's no ambiguity in that. So on that basis, Councillor Barker, if you, in the future, we need to vote on separate pieces as we go, fair enough. I'm happy with that. So if you recall our conversation at Smoko that day, I was a little surprised at the way it was dealt with. A bit of forewarning to the chair would be useful too. May I throw that in?
Could I respond to that? I don't accept that about the lack of forewarning. Councillor Bevan emailed you, and you had an email conversation about the very thing. Councillor Bevan was away the day. I moved his amendment.
You're not Councillor Bevan,
No,
and
but
you
wasn't
didn't
it-
actually move his amendment at all. It was your wording was different in my
Was not.
recollection. Okay.
Was not. I cut and paste the wording he sent you onto it. I can show you that it's absolutely
Okay.
accurate. So there's no question about the differences at all. So you weren't blindsided. You were advised. The wording was exactly correct. And it's very clear from the record that I moved an amendment and you declined to accept the amendment. It's very clear. There's no ambiguity about that. But the alternative is we don't have two sets of minutes. With all due respect, Chair, we have one set of minutes, and these are they. The other is just a video record. It's not part of the official record. This is the official record of this council. And if there's ever going to be a dispute, court rulings, whatever, the court will rely on the minutes as recorded and adopted, not by the video record. This is the only set of minutes for this council. And you have ruled that I'm not entitled to amend a set of minutes, and I find that extraordinary. I have never seen it in my life. Just unbelievable.
Well, you made your point. Let's move on. No, we don't need any further
Notices
discussion.
My name has been taken, and quite frankly taken in vain on this one. There is no reference to me here, and there should not be any reference to me here. I raised a matter under standing orders when a point of order was called on it, and that ruling, your ruling is, according to standing orders, is a final decision, and that's that, and it's ruled on the evidence. So who said what is not actually important? And I want to say that that, as it stands there, is absolutely correct.
Let's move on. We all have a choice whether we accept these or otherwise at the end of this meeting, and learn a lesson along the way. And I take that on the chin, Councillor Barker, but at the end of the day, the chair has to guide the meeting in all its nuances through the day. So that's what I did on the day, and I stand by that. Let's move on for accuracy then. Page 3. Page 3. Page 4. 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Someone happy to move that as a true and correct record? Thank you, Councillor Scott. Seconded, Councillor Dick. I'll put that motion in. All those in favour, please say aye. The contrary, no. Want division. All in favour? And against. Motion is carried. Thank you. Matters arising from those minutes. Thank you. Okay. Verbal report from the Maori Committee meeting held on the 21st of April. Mr. Mohi.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, the Maori Committee received Councillor Belford's resignation with regret. Moving on to the actual agenda, it was mainly verbal, and I must confess to suggesting that many of the items should be in verbal. I think our Maori members get more out of an agenda when with the spoken word rather than the written word, especially the science reports. But in this case, there was the verbals from the Fishhook conference, which Ngāti Kahungunu run each year, from Mike Paku, which is an excellent update on that hui. Very few of the actual Māori committee were able to attend that, so that was a really good update. And also an update, a verbal update from Gary Claude on Hawea Park, Mangaroa Bridge Pa, and Pakipaki riparian planting, which is carrying on. And I understand from Gary there's a meeting at Bridge Pa similar to one held last December, if any of the members would like to go to it. Also, a verbal update on Maori economic development from Tom Skirman, who's been allocated that portfolio, as it were. An update, and also he was able to outline some of the problems that he has with a very limited budget, and talking to Māori groups that are sort of in a state of limbo, as it were, before the treaty settlements come through. So Tom is out there talking to Wairoa, Central Hawke's Bay, and Ahuriri and Hiratonga about not so much leading the way, but being how the council can assist with Māori groups in terms of economic environment post-treaty claims. One of the important parts of the Maori Committee is the pre-meeting, and we have been sort of some of the former councillors that haven't been re-elected or didn't stand again have objected to the hour that the Maori Committee have from 9 till 10. But this is an opportunity for a lot of the little things that perhaps they don't have confidence in talking about at the full meeting. But it's an extremely important part. The council laws that are part of the committee are excluded from that, and it's not apartheid by any means. But as I said, it's an opportunity to bring up things, especially from one or two of the members that are a little bit anxious when it comes to speaking about minor matters, minor to the full meeting. One of the problems with that is that we quite often resolve the issues and they're not brought up at the full meeting, except perhaps just a sentence that I may say that we've discussed something and resolved it. So, Mr. Chairman, that's about it from me. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Mohi. Any questions? There was a decided lack of councillors at that meeting from memory. Well, I certainly wasn't there, and I don't think you were there. Councillor Scott, you had a question.
Yes, just around the Whangawahi catchment, perhaps you could give us an update on
Yes,
the
sorry,
progress on that. It was good to see another article in the paper referring to that the other day, Mr. Chairman, and I think it's one of our...
Sorry, I've got it written down here, but in some of the Māori members, they get very shy in front of people. The Whangawehi project is a collaborative project funded partly by the Regional Council on the Mahia Peninsula, and a couple of years ago we went for a visit there, and as you know, the sewage from the actual township is pumped over the hill into tanks, runs about 7 or 8 k's out to the coast, and the tangata whenua felt that there needed to be a riparian planting there, with the help of many groups, including Ngā Whenua, if I can put a plug in. There's thousands of plants being planted. That's a project that's going to carry on for the next 3 or 4 years. The project has won several New Zealand-wide awards for community involvement, and the presentation took 3/4 of an hour. A quarter of an hour of that was with trying to get things set up, so through no fault of theirs. But it was a project that the council can be very proud of, and also a flagship for other areas like Bridgepa and Pakipak and Kuapatiki.
Other questions, comments? Someone happy to move that we accept that verbal report? Thank you, Councillor Pipe. Seconded, Councillor Scott. You wish to speak, Councillor Pipe? No speakers? Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Now we have Hawke's Bay Tourism here for 9:15, so let's move into that. Good morning, good folk from